The Earth people who can think are so frightened by those who cannot. The dead. The dead.
Listen, if you talk to Charles, he probably told you that I was assigned to the case of the missing boy.
Oh my God, we're back with another exciting episode of Viral Venom. Today's special guest, of course, is oh my God, have you seen these? Have you guys seen these? Today's special guest is award-winning actor Krystian Bester from Friday the 13th, Blood Loss, and Boredom and Bloodshed, our upcoming film that we're working on this summer. Before we bring them out, we have to talk to you about we have to give a special thank you to Michael Claude Thomas and the B-Movie Monsters for allowing us to use their song Plan 9 in our intro video. The B-Movie Monsters are available on streaming platforms all across the Monsterverse. Go to your favorite digital download site today and get their newest album and tell them we sent you.
Yeah, and Michael Claude Thomas is also the composer for our theme song for Killer Pizza, and he's also written the outro song for Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate.
He did?
Oh my God, he did.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. The song for Killer Pizza is called Revenge. Check it out, download it, give it a thumbs up, do whatever you can do there. Billy Baxter Jr. is here in the comments. He says, hell yeah. And he says, I want one of those copies. Yes. Get your copy today from Indiegogo. Friday the 13th Blood Loss is being released. Friday the 13th Blood Loss is being released Friday, June 13th, starring tonight's guest, Krystian Bester as Jason Voorhees and John Hawthorne. It's also starring the original Jason Voorhees from the very first Friday the 13th film, Ari Lehman, and a horror icon, Beatrice Bupley from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. She was Amanda Kruger in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and she is Pamela Voorhees in our movie. How cool is that?
Who are all the other beautiful people on there?
Oh God, who are they? I don't know. We have Clifton Taylor on the cover of the Blu-ray. How cool is that? Oh my God. And we have Camille Langley over here. Wow. And we have Nick Andrews from Boredom and Bloodshed. He's right here. We have Michael Davis. So this is kind of in the background. It's hiding a little bit, but Michael Davis is here. And then Amber Nowicki is back here. And then we have, did I put another Jason? I thought I hit another Jason on here too. Man, I hit it so well I can't even find it. But there they are. Get your copy today. It releases Friday, June 13th. Tonight's guest, of course, as I mentioned a few times, is Jason Voorhees in this movie. So we're going to talk to him about that. but he's also the killer in our upcoming film, Boredom and Bloodshed. So we're going to get a chance to talk to him about that tonight as well. Amongst other things, like what does it take to make it in the horror world or in the film community, or what is the big difference between indie films and bigger sets that he's worked on, and all kinds of other stuff. We're trying to figure out how he got some of these cool awards. I mean, obviously he's an amazing actor, but we'll talk to him about the awards that he won and stuff too. And that's it, right? Should I show him the back of the DVD or make him wait?
Make them wait.
Okay, I'll make you guys wait. But there they are. Get your copy from Indiegogo today. They're releasing Friday, June 13th. We still have DVD combos available. Go check it out. Get your DVD, get your t-shirt, and so forth. All right. Let's get our guest out here.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. She's ready. Also, today's episode is brought to you by the letters. You okay?
The letters.
Are you fired? Are you fired? Yes, you're fired.
You're fired.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letters ROI. Some of you have no idea what that means, but a lot of you do. If you're unsure, promptly follow Google after the podcast and check that out. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Without further ado, the man of the hour, the award-winning, phenomenal, incredible guy backstage is Krystian Bester. Let's bring him out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how cool is this? I told Mandy he would be here tonight. She's like, no, he's too busy in Hollywood doing cool things. I was like, no, he's going to do it. He's really going to be here. And here you are. Billy Baxter says, the man is here. Everybody's excited to see Krystian tonight. All right. So, Krystian Bester, we got to ask you, for the people that have never seen you before, what's your favorite scary movie?
I think I said the same one that I'm about to say, but I was thinking about this yesterday too, if I was going to change my answer, but I think it's still Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, that's right. I thought you were going to say A Quiet Place. I forgot that you like Jeepers Creepers more.
Yeah, I did like A Quiet Place. Yeah.
All right, let me figure out what is going on here. There we go. All right, so we are live with Krystian Bester's favorite scary movies, Jeepers Creepers. We've had him on the show before. If you missed those episodes, go to YouTube today and go find them and watch them all because they're all good. Tonight we want to talk to you about, of course, our upcoming film, Friday the 13th, Blood Loss, which we filmed last summer. It's being released June 13th. And then the one that we're filming this summer is Boredom and Bloodshed. So we want to talk to you about that too.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk to you about where should we start? Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start?
Yeah, where do you want to start? All right.
So how about, what was your latest audition?
Oh.
Well, you probably can't say that, right?
No, I can't say that. A lot of the auditions now, they have NDAs, so you're not supposed to. It was for...
Well, see, then it gives out good information. What's the matter with you?
Yeah. It was for a TV show.
You don't have to answer it, Krystian.
For a new TV show for a decent sized role for it. That's...
Yeah, we can't talk about that one yet. You know, we'll hopefully, we hope for good things, and then we'll have you. I'll talk to your agent about getting you back on again in the future. But all right. So some of the stuff that you have been in is Friday the 13th, Blood Loss, of course. You were in Law and Order SVU, and not just you know, a lot of people think that you know, we just want to break down some of the mystique around getting a role on a show like that. Yep. So you had a speaking role. It wasn't just a background extra. You were featured in the episode. You had a really cool part. I enjoyed the episode a lot. So let's just jump into that. So for the aspiring actors out there that want to get casted in Law and Order, whose phone number do you have for them?
I don't have anyone.
Okay, so for but seriously, for the people that want to get involved, and you know, their dream is to do what you've done. You know, they want to be on TV. They want to see themselves and especially in a show that has such a huge name like that, Law and Order. Everybody's heard of it.
Yeah.
So and not to just be in the background somewhere, but to be featured on the show. What kinds of steps could they go? What kinds of things could they do to kind of set themselves up to maybe to land a role like that? Yeah.
So for shows like that, like any network shows, there's very rarely there's like an open casting call, which means like the public could see the casting call like on backstage or anything like that.
Okay.
They'll do those if they're looking for like a specific type of person, like an amputee or somebody that knows how to like salsa dance real well or something like that, you know. If they haven't found someone yet, they'll do open call, but usually you get those from your agent. So the agents and managers, they have like a back, there's called breakdowns. If anyone has Actors Access, the agents have like a backdoor service called breakdowns where they get the breakdowns from the casting directors that do like Law and Order or FBI or, you know, White Lotus, any show like that. So if you don't have an agent, the opportunity to get an audition like that is, you know, it's rare. So
I want to bridge the gaps for people because now they heard you say that, and you're saying that it's a lot easier if they have an agent, right?
Yeah.
So now every actor that sees this is going to go, man, I have to have an agent. How do I get an agent? You know, what do I do? So before we get there, let's kind of build up to it. Now we'll go back to the indie stuff, and then we'll build up to getting an agent, and then finally you landed that audition. So
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know how to salsa dance?
I will learn if there was a
if there's a part for it. Yeah. No, he salsa dances.
I salsa. If the casting director was like, "Do you know how to salsa dance?" I would immediately say yes, and then just figure it out. You know.
So you've been in the cool stuff. You were in Law and Order. You had a speaking role. You said that it's a lot easier if you have an agent. So now a lot of these people that are watching today, they're new to acting, or they've been doing it for a while, but they just never got to that point. And so now I want to go back, talk about the indie stuff, and then build up to that point where you got an agent, you appeared on Law and Order, and then go from there. And like, what are all the cool things that you did after that? But first, we have to say hello to our friend Colin Fio. Hello, Colin. He says Jason himself, Colin, is in Friday the 13th Blood Loss. He appears in scenes with Ari Lehman. He won an Outstanding Achievement Award for the music video. First Jason, Kill for Mother, Friday the 13th Blood Loss version. All right. He's also in Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate, which is in demand on Indiegogo, and Killer Pizza and all kinds of cool stuff. Killer Pizza also featuring Krystian Bester. Okay, so let's take a step back though. Sure. So to get to all of the big things that you've done, you found it easier to have an agent, which you know, I don't know how to get there. So let's take a step back. You started off in indies, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then how did you get started with the indie stuff?
So probably like anyone out, like backstage, and you know, there's all different types of websites or Facebook groups that you could join that they always have like open casting calls for, you know, non-union kind of indie type of stuff. And really what you want to do is you want to build your portfolio to get an agent. So you're not going to get signed if you don't, you know, if you don't have anything, if you're just, it's not like back in the day where you hear like Ashton Kutcher was like a waiter and there's an agent that saw him was like, oh, you know what, you'd be perfect. That doesn't happen anymore. There's too many actors out there. So what you want to do is you want to get into any film that you can do. Student films are great, you know, just so you could have some footage of you actually acting so they could see it. And go to classes. A great way to network is, you know, your local acting classes. They're all around. And there's also like workshops with agents. You have to pay for them, but you get to actually perform in front of this agent. So they'll be able to see you, you know, one-on-one. New York has one. Actors Connection is one. If you go to those websites, you could, you know, look at all the agents that are doing it. So
you just mentioned workshops. Let's take a
Yep.
step back again, right?
Okay.
Bring it back to the beginning of the episode where I said today's episode was brought to you by the letters ROI, which stands for return on investment, right?
Yeah.
And so so now you're talking about actors workshops that you
Yep.
had to pay for.
Yeah.
And but then this allowed you to network, hone your craft, and then that led to auditions, right?
Yes.
So
Acting you're going to spend money to be an actor. There's no way around it. Every website that you go on, Actors Access, Backstage, that costs money. It's just, that's part of it. And there's a lot of like, you know, what we do here with crowdfunding. You guys can't make the movies if you don't get money for them. It costs a lot of money to make a movie. Doesn't matter how, like you know, you can barely make a movie for like under thousands of dollars, like a couple grand. That's actually going to be anything, you know. So to be able to actually pay for a role or to get in front of a camera and help the movie out, it's not like, you know, when on these Indiegogos, you're not giving you money just so you could be in a role. You're helping the movie be able to be developed, and you get an opportunity to be in a role. So that's a great way to do it too. There's a lot of campaigns. You guys have awesome campaigns, you know. Other people do campaigns. It's how it's run now. And like, for example, a casting network or an agency workshop will probably run you, if it's a big casting director, $150 for that, you know, basically like 20 minutes that she'll actually be focused on you, maybe even less. But that's the game you have to play.
So what you're telling me is that you paid for these workshops. Nobody covered your fees. Nobody held your hand and dragged you there. Nobody forced you to do it. You took the initiative to go and do these things. They came out of your pocket, but it was an investment that you made, knowing that it was potentially going to help you get to where you want to be in the film world.
I still do workshops. Everyone still does workshops. If there's a good way to do it, is you could find out what, you know, shows are casting and look up the casting director's name and see if they're in any workshops. If they're in the workshops, they're going to see you. They're going to, you know, they'll be like, oh, I remember him from that workshop. He did pretty good. Let me give him an audition. You know?
All right, let me ask you this, Mr. Superstar. Have you ever paid for a headshot?
Oh yeah.
Why? Why did you do that?
Because it's your calling card. You're basically
Okay.
it's the first thing that the casting director sees. If you don't have headshots, if you just take a selfie, you'll be laughed out of the room. You have to have professional headshots. There's no way around it. They're expensive. You know, I traveled 250 miles to get my latest ones from somebody that was referred to that did great headshots.
You traveled 250 miles and paid for headshots?
150, I'm sorry. 150.
Okay. But still, you traveled 150 miles and then you paid for headshots.
Yeah, and they're not cheap. If you get them done professionally, you know, you're looking, depends how many looks you want, but you're looking anywhere from $500 to $1,500.
Okay, so award-winning actor Krystian Bester is telling me he expects me to believe that he paid for a workshop, right? And then drove 150 miles and then paid for headshots. What about demo reels? Have you ever paid for a demo reel?
Yep. My latest demo reel that I have, I had to pay to get it like clipped together, because I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. You know, you get your stuff. I know that a lot of, like, for if you do like Law and Order or any kind of network show, you can't ask them for your tape. You know, you can't just, they have so much going on. Plus, they don't care. They're not going to give you a tape. You have to wait for the episode to go out. Then you have to find companies that will clip that tape for you, get it off the internet. That costs money. Then once you have something for your package that's at least, you know, a minute long of you acting, Get somebody professionally to clip it to make it look like it's good. Because other than a headshot, they're going to look at your reel too.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
what he's saying to us is that you can't go to these major productions and ask them for your footage for them to make you a reel.
You can't do.
because
Is
they
that
have
true?
Too much going on.
Yeah.
So you can't. Okay, so if you were on
If I did that, if I emailed casting or anybody, my agent would drop me for like, when you sign. There's a big thing when you sign any agency contract. The number one thing is never talk to casting directors, never reach out to them. Talk to them on set when they're talking to you, but don't reach out to them. Don't ask for auditions. That's their job, and they will just make you look bad.
So for being an indie film director that has to work with a lot of different personalities, a lot of these people are just getting their first steps into acting, or they have very little experience. Being able to contact us and communicate with us and ask us for these things is probably like an indie film luxury sort of thing, right?
Yeah, you'll never have that again.
And then me begging people up front, like, look, if you want your footage, tell me now. That way I can set it up for you.
Yeah,
that's non-existent in the world beyond this, right?
No.
Okay, all right. So you told us for some crazy reason you paid for workshops, right? Which obviously is, I know is a good idea, but I just want to get to this point where people are catching on here. So you paid for workshops where you were able to network and audition with casting directors in front of real casting directors.
Yep.
Then you traveled 150 miles and paid for headshots.
Yeah.
Okay. Professional headshots. And then you also paid for demo reel footage. Did any of that stuff benefit you?
Yeah. I wouldn't,
because I don't want to seem. Who am I? We have award-winning actor Krystian Bester here, so I just want, you
got to do it. There's no way around it. If you want to become an actor, there's gonna be upfront money that you're gonna pay. They say the average for, an inspiring actor the first year is around $2,000, $3,000 that you're gonna come out of pocket for things that you need. Nothing's free.
So for anyone that's getting started out, in my opinion, Indiegogo is a really good way to get started because you can jump into a movie and get on set, hands-on experience. You don't have to get the headshots and all that stuff. It's just you're in the door, right? At least in the indie film stuff.
Exactly.
But having all of these other things when you want to get to the next level, it's a really good idea to have headshots and to have demo reel footage and to have all these things that we're talking about. And so, for us, we try to offer a lot of that stuff to the campaign backers that get involved on set. If they're working with us on set, we offer demo reel options.
Yep.
And the reason why is because I want you to get where Krystian Bester is so that I can promote you the same way that we were able to, work with Krystian with Friday the 13th Blood Loss and had our red carpet premiere in November, and tons of people were there from all over the country, flew in to see the movie with us, and then won awards. And I don't even know how many. Best feature film, best international feature film, best actor Krystian Bester, best makeup MANDEE, best actress Beatrice Bupley, outstanding achievement awards, honorable mentions, and all that. But I mean, how many awards have we gotten? And it's because we were able to do things a certain way, and I want to continue that, and not just continue doing things the way that we're doing them, but to grow and to work with new people and different people, and to get more of these guys kind of caught up to where you are, so that we can make something even bigger and better. And so these are some of the things that I am interested in from potential actors out there that are getting started. They want to be promoted more. They aren't quite getting it. I kind of wanted to do this to get them caught up. Having a headshot, a professional headshot, helps me because now I can share that on our website and look professional. And if you're taking a selfie and doing this and you're sitting on the couch and all your dog toys are behind you and all this stuff, it doesn't help me promote the movie in a professional way. When Krystian Bester and Tom Glynn and Colin Feal and all these other people have professional headshots, it makes the entire brand look better, right? Not just the movie, not just that campaign. It's not just Boredom and Bloodshed. We have Boredom and Bloodshed, Friday the 13th, Blood Loss, Killer Pizza, the Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate, and then future projects moving forward. And we want people to go back and look and see, like, oh wow, they worked with Krystian Bester and Tom Glynn and Walter Phelan and all these professional people. And so to get some of these new indie guys caught up, this is kind of why I wanted you on tonight. It's a big part of the reason why, of course, to promote the movies, but also to do that, to get these guys to at least closer to where you are, right? Yep. So with Krystian, he might not say it first, but I'll say it. You have to have talent, right? Krystian has talent. Krystian has he's reliable. He shows up when he's supposed to show up. He does what he's supposed. He does all the things that you would way more than you would expect from somebody to do, right? Yeah. So my advice is to take some of those things away from this podcast, which is completely different from all the other podcasts we've been doing lately. And take some of these tips and run with it and do the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be. Because a lot of these people want to be where you are. They want to be on TV in these shows, and they either don't know how to get there, or they don't believe in themselves, or they don't believe that they don't think that it's possible. And it could be possible, but you want to put your best foot forward, I think, right? And so that's why I wanted to go over a lot of this stuff. All right, so you end up in all these cool movies, but we took the step back. You started off on Backstage and that kind of stuff. Then where did that lead you? So now that we can connect the bridge between the indies and the bigger sets.
So so it led me to a movie that's going to be coming out. That was like my first audition. So I'm still fairly new at this. I've been very lucky to jump as much as I have in the past couple of years. But like when we first filmed Blood Loss, it was one of my first projects, and then it just, like I said, indies, like Indiegogos are perfect to start your career, get stuff on your resume. One thing that you were saying about like people getting discouraged and like think that they can't do it, the biggest thing that I could tell you is that you're going to get so much rejection that it's incredible how much rejection you're going to get. That doesn't mean that you suck. There's nothing that you can control after you send out your audition, because you might have been the better actor, but it's, they're like, he looks too much like the lead. He looks too much like this guy, or he's, we're looking for a guy with darker eyebrows or something like that. It's just out of your control. And so you're going to get rejection. Don't let that discourage you. Just keep pushing, and you always have to work at it. Nothing's going to come to you. You go to the workshops, find, fun movies to go do, like, Boredom and Bloodshed. It's going to be on your resume. You're going to get footage from it. It's a great way to get in. And it's a lot of work. I work on it every day. In my office, I have I have a setup for when you're doing self-tapes. You should have a setup. You should have a background. You shouldn't be doing it, like how I am right here. I would never do an audition like this. It has to be with, a nice colored background, wear solid colors, and have a reader. Yeah.
So,
I forgot your question.
A lot of people are not going to like this podcast because we're talking about a lot of things that people kind of want to skip over. They don't want to hear that headshots are a good thing. They want to hear like, oh, you don't need headshots, you don't need demo reel. But we're trying to get you to a certain point where you can actually be successful. And the truth hurts. And I know this sucks, but we have to do it, right? Yeah. So here's a hard question that's gonna upset a couple people, give us your truth, whatever your truth is. Okay. I told you beforehand, don't say anything to make me happy. Like, we want the truth. Okay. Yeah. So as an actor, someone who's finding success in the entertainment industry, for someone that is at the point where a lot of these indie people want to get to, do you sit on Facebook and send indie film directors messages and say, hey, I will work on your movie for free if you just fly me out there?
No. You're gonna No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't do that?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. I figured I would. Figured I would ask. Okay. I didn't think you did, but it's something that happens a lot. I don't understand it, and so I'm just trying to let's nip it in the butt. So, according to Krystian, it's not something he does. Probably something you wouldn't recommend,
No.
right?
When we did the first time we filmed for Blood Loss, I went there. So I drove. It was like a 5-hour drive for me, 4-hour drive, something like that. And then right when I left, I was there for 3 days. No, then I had to shoot that other movie, so I left for that one day. I drove at like 8 o'clock at night when we were done shooting. Drove and did a scene in Rhode Island for that other movie, Curse Hearse, and then drove back to finish out shooting with you guys. And then that was 2 days. And then I left, and then I got a message from you. I sent you a message. I was like, hey, if you ever need me again, it was great working with you. And then I got a text back like, well, yeah, actually, we're going to need you back if you don't mind. So, and then we were there for a week. Yeah. So, and things happen fast, especially for like TV shows. You're going to get a call and you might have to be there the next day. And it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to have to be there the next day.
So, in other words, you work extremely hard, and you've done a lot to get where you are now. And so, for the people that are watching that want to get to where you are, they should do the same things, right? They should work extremely hard to get to where they want to be ultimately.
Should work extremely hard.
All right. So, and that is an indie film thing where you could start off with one role, and then if something bigger becomes available, you might be offered a bigger role or whatever.
Yeah.
Because in the indie film world, that kind of crap happens. In the bigger movie sets, that's not going to happen, right?
No,
it's less likely.
Well, it's a lot less likely. But
Okay.
there's like, for example, Chris Pratt, when he was on Parks and Recs, he was supposed to only be on 2 episodes. And then he became a series regular. So it happens. Like, it's rare, but
it does happen.
It does happen. For indies, it's great because everyone knows each other, or generally you'll know somebody that was in something else, and the community's smaller than than Hollywood. But it's always great to connect with people, and networking's huge too. You never know who's going to be in what movie. And then one of the movies that we'll probably talk about that was in Small Potatoes, my acting coach, who was on Dexter, he just called me randomly one day and he's like, hey, we're in a pinch. They want you to audition real quick for this role, for this movie. Be on set a couple days, send it in an hour. I was like, okay. And I booked it, but things happen quick. And then I was there the next day shooting.
So just to recap, because there's a lot of information and the time is flying by right now. So to recap, you've been in some really cool shows and you've done a lot of cool things in the film industry in a very short amount of time. You started in the indies doing backstage stuff, and you think that Indiegogo might be a good option for some people.
Yep.
But definitely if you want to get to that next level, having professional headshots, a professional demo reel, and all those different, going to acting workshops, meeting people, networking, auditioning in front of casting directors that have been involved with bigger projects, all that stuff is definitely a good investment.
Oh, yeah.
So you say to get on Law and Order, it was pretty much impossible unless you had an agent.
Yeah.
So a lot of people watching are like, how do I get this agent? So how do we go from working on Blood Loss to now you're on Law and Order? How do we bridge that gap?
So,
or for somebody out there, not you,
Yeah.
you don't have to give us the exact, but how does somebody get from this point to this point?
Build your packet and send it out to agencies and managers. Managers are basically the same in New York. In LA too, but managers, they could submit you. Managers could get you jobs. They're usually, they take a little more of a percentage, but they're also, an agent. I don't really talk to my agents. I'll get a audition from them, but unless it's very important, I don't call them or anything. My manager, though, she's, I text her, and she'll tell me if I get headshots. I'll send it over to her, and I'll be like, which ones are good, which ones are bad. Do you like this reel? She's focused on moving you to like moving your career, while an agent typically already wants your career established because they have more people and they don't want to do any work of that. That's not their job. Their job is to get you in the door to the casting agency. So for your question is, get a packet, which means headshots, resume, anything you do right in the resume. If you did background work, take it off the resume. They don't care. If you were background in even the biggest movie, just anything that you were spoken, put it on your resume. All your classes should be down there. Anything that might be interesting, like I'm fluent in Polish, so that's on my resume. If you know, like combat skills, if you ever did stage combat, anything like that, put it in there, and then make a reel. And then what I did was I just sent it out. I just sent it out to a lot of people, and only a few got back to me, but they were my first manager. I sent it out to her. She was from Australia. She has actors in Australia and actors in the US. And then I did an audition for her. You'll have to audition for the agent and manager. And then she was the one that got me my first agent, my first New York agent. And that's where I got Law and Order.
So this should be the most replayed part of the episode. I knew that this would be a tough one for people to get through because we're going over a lot of topics that the indie film doesn't want to hear, right? The indie film community doesn't want to hear that they need headshots and all this stuff. But let's recap. Let's go back, and now we'll walk all the way forward with all the steps. And you help me out if I missed something.
Yep.
So you started off doing indie stuff. You went through backstage. You think that Indiegogo might be a potential good idea for some people that are just getting started?
It's great to get footage. It's great to get stuff on your resume. It's great to network. It's definitely... It's the easiest way to start because if you could pay for a role and get that experience of being on set and, having lines and getting footage, do it.
So going through backstage, going through Indiegogo is a good idea because you get experience, you can get footage for your reel and so forth. So you paid for headshots, you paid to get your footage from these different projects. So now you have professional headshots and professional footage. Then you put a professional resume together using all of the experience that you had working on indie films to get started. You went through acting workshops that you had to pay for. You auditioned in front of real casting agents that are casting directors that are casting people all the time for big productions and things. You took all of your full package, which was the headshots, the reels, the resume, and you sent that to different agencies. That landed you an agent. Once you got the manager, okay. And then having the manager led you to getting the agent.
Yes. So the managers are in with the agents. So like she had a bunch of people. So she already had clients that were in agencies. So after, I think it was like 2 months of having my manager, she called me and she was like, hey, what do you think about getting an agent in New York? And I was like, yeah, more people on your team. Yeah, you have to pay everyone a percentage of what you make. That's how it works. But the more people that are on your team, the better, the more exposure you'll get. So
you did all that, led to the manager, that led to the agent. Now the agent is getting the casting call notifications for projects like Law and Order that the average person couldn't get from backstage.com or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So now we just walked everybody that's watching from, hey, I'm literally filming in the woods with Anthony and these other people to now I'm on Law and Order, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we just bridge the gap for everybody watching that's trying to figure out what they're doing wrong. Rewatch this video. I'm not doing it. This is not monetized. We don't get paid for it. I'm going to benefit by you guys figuring out your stuff so I can promote you in projects in a year from now. That's how I win, right? Yeah. So we just walked you all through. He just did this. He went from literally filming in the woods at 4 a.m. to now Law and Order. And then you were on Oxygen, Sins of the South. You're the killer there. Law and Order, SVU, FBI Most Wanted. and you're not just a background extra. You're featured in these shows where you have lines, speaking lines, and things.
Yep.
And then that led to now bigger projects potentially, right?
Yeah.
And then so now we'll get into Sweet Potatoes because you mentioned it earlier. Sweet Potatoes is featuring all these.
Oh
What's it called?
You made me forget by saying
I thought you said Sweet Potatoes.
No,
is that
it's
what you
not Sweet Potatoes. Small potatoes.
Small potatoes. Yeah. No, that's what I meant. So it led you to Small Potatoes now, which has a bunch of huge names attached to it. Are you allowed to say anything about who's attached to it and what? Okay.
Yeah, it's in post production. He's been what's it called? Putting out stuff. So it's already on my IMDb, so I can talk about it. It's a movie about 4 or 5 like bandits or just criminals that counterfeit $5 bills, and they've been doing it for years. And it's a comedy, and it has Amy Stiller, Ben Stiller's sisters in it, Blythe Danner, which is Gwyneth Paltrow's mom. She's very famous. She was in Meet the Parents. She was Robert De Niro's wife in Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers and all that series. She was great. And my coach, Aaron Andre's in it. And so that was a fun time. Yeah.
So, okay. And then beyond that, things that we can't get into details about, but you do a lot of big auditions now where these big parts in things that people have definitely heard of. So now we just walked everybody from filming in the woods with Anthony and Mandy to, or whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But filming Blood Loss all the way up to now you're in the movie with Gwyneth Paltrow's mom and, all these bigger names. Am I allowed to say the other people in the movie?
Which one?
In the Small Potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Amy Stiller.
So like Amy Stiller.
Yeah.
Right. So now how do you go? So we just explain to everybody exactly how you go from literally joining Boredom and Bloodshed this summer through Indiegogo all the way to working with Amy Stiller. But there it is. The whole there's an
Let me add one thing too.
Yeah.
For anyone that's gonna go try to get an agent too. Know that there's different tiers of agents. So don't go to CAA and write them an email. They'll never even open it. So there's different level of agents. Ones that usually just do like the co-stars and like for working actors, there's agencies. There's different tiers. Ones that like newer actors that are trying to build, their resumes more. So just make sure to do your research on who you're sending it to. So you're not, kind of making a fool out of yourself because, UTA and CAA, they're not gonna talk to anybody unless they've already, made a lot of money acting.
Okay. And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of movies, right? Now at this point.
Yeah.
I don't see you like when you're on the set of Blood Loss, for example, I don't see any selfies from you on Facebook on the set of Blood Loss. How come there aren't really any selfies there?
Well, there's a lot of the times you're not supposed to even have your phone, especially for the bigger projects.
Really?
You're not supposed to like you're asking me about auditions. I signed NDAs for some auditions that I can't even, sometimes I don't even know what the project is because they use like a dummy name, like,
right.
So, but they still give you an NDA. Don't show this to anybody. Don't show these sides to anybody. Sides are what you get for an audition. That's what your basically your script for the audition.
So when you're on set, you're telling us that when you're on these bigger movie sets, they don't want you taking selfies and uploading them to Facebook?
No.
Okay. All right. Now I've heard everything.
I actually just got from my Atlanta agent. She sent a email blast to everybody because somebody just did that on a big project, and the casting director sent an email to our agency saying, like, everyone signed an NDA. Why is this happening? Because they look at your Facebook, they look at your Instagrams. They, they have people like bigger movies. They'll have people that That's their job, is to see if anyone's leaking anything, or even just a simple picture of you on set somewhere. You know, you're not supposed to do that.
This is wild. It's too much because I'm this goes against everything that I thought.
Stop.
We're not allowed to. There's like this unwritten law that we're not allowed to talk about these things, and it goes against the complete grain from the indie world community, because they do all these things, and I'm trying to help correct some of this stuff before.
And if you see like behind the scenes photos that production lets out, is because they hired somebody to do behind the scene photos. They're not selfie pictures from, you know, the cast.
Wow.
They'll usually you could take a picture of yourself, like, you know, in a chair, if it's like your first co-star, first whatever, you know. I have a picture up with Mariska Hargitay, and I didn't post that until the episode aired, because I wasn't allowed to even say that I was in Law and Order. You didn't even, I think I probably told you, but most people, you know, when you get the NDA too, it says don't even tell your wife or your parents.
I'm glad you brought that up again too, because they had you sign what?
Oh, like the NDAs for just even
an
auditions.
NDA?
Yeah.
Oh my! They had you fill out an NDA. That's another thing that people, I think, are just in the indie community for some reason are not like, they understand the concept and they get it, but a lot of them don't do it. And so when they get it from us, they're like, "Well, this is nice." And I'm like, "This is how they should." I mean, you know, for the other film sets, just my 2 cents. If you want it, you guys should all be doing this stuff. We do it for every project. I mean, even if it's just a simple thing through email, hey, fill this out for us, whatever it is, we have everybody fill out something.
Yeah. Smart.
All right. So we got some pictures here. We got some little bit of time left with you. We'll have some fun.
Everything that you're not supposed to be sharing, we're about to share it.
Yeah, we got. Wait till you see this, man. No, we have some different photos from some of the different projects and things. We'll go over it, just talk about it a little bit. Then we'll have fun, fire off some fun questions. I think we gave everybody probably more information than they're going to know what to do with at this point. I think they're going to be like, what the hell? Like what I walk into.
It's meant to be beneficial for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah, for everyone. It's not meant to attack anyone or like an individual person. We just literally have so many people that really don't have the concept.
They just don't know
the steps that they need to take.
Yeah, they literally.
It's a whole different world. So I get, if you haven't been in the world, you don't know. But you know, some things are kind of self-explanatory. If you sign an NDA, don't talk about anything. You know, but yeah. Also, one more thing about agents, though, just know when to, like, what. You don't have to be married to your agent. You're not married to them. My acting coach put a great analogy to it. He's like, it's like a pair of pants. Like, you'll grow out of them, you know. And when you're ready to grow out of your first agent, do it. You know, you'll have a contract, but you know, I just signed with a new agency in New York. That's, you know, a step up from my past agent, because I felt like I was ready. My manager and I both spoke, and she was like, you know, you could get better auditions if they're interested in you. So have a meeting with them. So that's what we did.
So what you're saying is, as your career grows, your agent should adjust to that career path.
Yeah.
So I just want to say too, for some of the people that are watching or some that tune in later and they're like, man, what I sign up for? We have Indiegogo campaigns. I 100% understand that half of the people that get involved are doing it for fun. It's a bucket list thing, or it's their first time doing it. They just want to try it out and see where to go. I completely get that. But then there's a whole different group that really wants to get to where Krystian is. And some of those people that are just starting out might want to get there at some point too. So this is just meant to be an informational, educational kind of podcast for those people that want to get to where he is. I'm not telling you that, you know, you've never acted before, you're signing up for a perk today and you have to have professional headshots and you have to have a demo and all this stuff. It's just, if you want to grow and get to where Krystian is, if you think it's for you and if that's your dream or whatever, then these are reasonable steps to get there. This is all the stuff that he's mentioning is probably going to help. And again, on top of all the stuff that he said he had to do, what you're not understanding probably, because you just can't tell in this hour-long video, is that Krystian, again, is a great guy. He has talent. He works on his skills. He's done these workshops. He does the classes. He does all the things he's thinks he should do. He studies. He's constantly studying the industry, and he's trying to constantly improving himself, and he's again reliable and all the other good things that I could say about a human being. If you haven't met Krystian, these are all qualities that he might not be able to teach some of you. So if you don't have some of those qualities, they might be things that you need to work on yourself so that you can get to where he is.
You're so sweet.
Well, it's just true. Anyway, let's pull up some pictures. We'll have you talk about it.
I know, it's a big long Valentine to Krystian.
All right. So here is a cool photo of Krystian Bester. What's this one from?
Soul's View.
Soul's View. And you won Best Actor award for it?
Yes. And we just won a regional Emmy for it.
Regional Emmy. So this is all advice coming from a regional Emmy award winner. So here's Krystian on the set. This is a screenshot from his episode from Law and Order SVU. What can you tell us about this? Oh, and you can see Ice-T there and Melissa there.
Yeah.
Or Mariska. Did I say that wrong?
Mariska, yeah.
Mariska.
Probably the nicest person you could meet, too. She's a sweetheart.
So what can you tell us about this scene? What was it like filming on set?
Oh, it was crazy. I was so nervous.
Were you?
Nervous. Oh, yeah. So this was actually the season finale of last year, and they blocked off a couple blocks out of the Bronx. So this was all shot outside, and they had a bigger budget for this episode. It was right after the pandemic, so it was only 13 episodes that season. And so a lot of like gunfire and all that. But we were on set. I think I was there from 6 till 7 p.m. But it was a fun time.
What can you tell us about this photo?
Oh, which one's that? I think that's from the first week we shot, right?
It is from the second week.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's you're up on the hill with Earl. The scene was cut from the movie.
That was okay, the second week, but the first time we went there. Yeah. That was fun. That kill scene was I wish we didn't cut that one out.
So this is Krystian Bester as Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Blood Loss. The mask mold was made by Tim Jones from Top Notch Hawks. I hand painted that mask and the entire costume. Let's see what else is here. What's this one?
John Hawthorne.
John Hawthorne, the main character from Friday the 13th Blood Loss. And John's famous truck, who appears in the movie more than most of the actors do. All right, here's this one here.
Me and Cliff, yeah.
Krystian Bester and Clifton Taylor. This was also a deleted scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, good on me for choosing all the deleted scenes to show.
I felt terrible about deleting that scene, but what happened was when it came to editing, we just couldn't get it to work.
We had to make sense of the scene.
Yeah, it didn't flow. Yeah. Well, that happens, you know.
So here we have the Blu-ray cover. Friday the 13th Blood Loss coming Friday, June 13th. So let's talk about this movie for 2 minutes because we've spent the past 2 years talking about it. It is a feature film starring Krystian Bester in a dual role. He's Jason Voorhees and John Hawthorne, the main character of the movie. So this is not your typical...
Let me say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just to show that like doing indie films or Indiegogo films works too. One of the new agent that I had, he saw my resume and he saw Friday the 13th Blood Loss, and he first thought it was like a major
like
production.
A Hollywood. Right,
yeah,
right.
But then he looked into it, but he's like, that is such a great way to snag somebody too. Like to get the attention of, he's like, I looked it up. He's like, I actually know a lot of actors that have been in, I think, other fan films, but it was just funny to Yeah.
So it pays off, you know. Yeah. So Friday the 13th Blood Loss is a feature film. It's a Friday the 13th fan film. We put a lot of work into it with the limited resources that we had. So this is not your typical Friday the 13th movie where kids are in bikinis smoking weed and getting killed. It's actually it's a missing person kind of thing where Christian Bester's character is trying to find a missing boy. And you might hear that and think like, oh no, there's not a lot of Jason. Jason's actually in it from like start to finish. So you'll see a whole lot of Jason in it. It's just a different kind of thing, and it does pay. What am I trying to say? It is still like a love letter to the original Friday the 13th. We have Ari Lehman in there. Of course, was the original Jason Voorhees. It touches on. We give shout outs to other fan films, like other popular fan films in it. So if you guys are fans of the other fan films, there might be little nods to those movies in there for you that we snuck it in there just for fun. It is, I mean, what else can we say that hasn't been said over the past 2 years? It was a lot of work, man. It was really, it was extremely difficult.
A lot of trial and error, a lot to deal with certain cast members not cooperating fully. You go through a lot unexpectedly with these type of films, though. But in the end, it was all worth it.
Yeah, and actually, to be completely honest with everybody, it was not fun for me to work on. I did enjoy the memories that I made with MANDEE. I did enjoy working with Krystian Bester. That was probably being on set, definitely one of the best parts of it. I wouldn't have wanted to do it. I mean, and this isn't just because you're here or anything, because but I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to do it with the other people that we had before. Krystian made it so much better. Working with Ari was fun. He was a lot of fun. We filmed at a bar in Buffalo. It was myself, MANDEE, Ari Lehman, Colin Field, bass amp, and then there was just like a couple other people there. But it was a very small group of people. And he's a very funny guy and just likes to he actually showed up before I did. He was early, knew all of his stuff. We rewrote everything. He had to relearn it all. He got it all down pretty quickly.
Extremely professional and easy to work with that day.
Yeah. The other fun thing was Beatrice, which if you don't know Beatrice, she's very fun. She can be very funny. So there were times. I think most of my time spent filming with her was in like 4 a.m. or something like that. Like we had her there twice, and both times it was like 4 a.m. that we're out there filming. And this last time was with you. You're like, oh, and your magical son. Why don't you? And I was, it's 4 a.m. I'm dying. I can't stop laughing. I can't even film the scene because I'm just laughing so hard. But you guys will see that in the movie. Hopefully it comes off the way that we intended it to. I mean, it seemed like it did from being in the theater, and the theater was kind of like a different experience too. It was pretty fun. But yeah, those are the things I enjoyed about it. I enjoyed working with MANDEE and going on hunts, trying to find the props and things that we needed to make props for the movie. I enjoyed filming on set with a handful of people, mostly Krystian, Ari, Beatrice. But I mean, filming the scenes with Camille too, that was fun. She's slapping you and all that stuff. And so
Clifton.
Yeah. So working with some of the people was fun. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. Oh, Michael Davis. Yeah. There were people that I enjoyed working with, but I think I was just so dry that it was really I had no sleep. I was like no food a lot of the days. But it's won some awards. See what I'm saying? No selfies on Facebook.
I'm never gonna let Jack Dunnan live down that he brought all cheese.
Jack Dunnan with these damn pizzas. We sent Jack to Little Caesars to get some pizzas. None of us had ate, and he came back with cheese pizzas. Jack, come on, man.
Just cheese pizzas.
Just cheese pizza.
So we're excited for everybody at home to see it that hasn't seen it. A lot of people have seen it because they did the in-person premiere and then they did the digital one, so they kind of got an idea for it. The ones that haven't, June 13th. Let's pull this up quick. Boredom and Bloodshed in demand, not in demand, live on Indiegogo, set to go in demand. You only have 16 days left to join the cast, starring Krystian Bester from Friday the 13th, Blood Loss, Law & Order SVU, FBI Most Wanted, Small Potatoes, and more. Krystian, what can you tell us about your character in this one?
His name is
There's a
Andrew,
mask.
and he wears that mask. He gets bored. He's I think we're still developing the character. I've been thinking about it a lot. It's how I want to play it out and see if you're okay with it, and we'll work from there. But I think he's gonna be a weirder character.
It's a pretty
awkward. Like
the
socially,
movie,
yeah.
socially awkward. Yeah. So I think some of the stuff is still in development because we have the Indiegogo campaign going and people are still joining the cast. So we have to write around a lot of the different roles and things. But generally, it's just an original slasher film where Krystian Bester's character just goes on a rampage one day. This is a mask that he gets from a different character in the movie. And so he puts this on and then he kills everybody. I've
gone over some of it, the original draft with Krystian and everything. So, of course, like Anthony said, a lot of it's going to change because of the Indiegogo. But he's still going to keep the same persona and everything.
Nice. So he's going from Jason Voorhees and John Hawthorne to Andrew, the new killer from Boredom and Bloodshed. This mask, dude, I'm telling you, it's solid. It's a solid mask. Like this.
Krystian's actually the only one who got to hear the original script.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to hear it.
The only one.
It's good.
All right. So Boredom and Bloodshed's live on Indiegogo. Get your perks today. Mandy says, "Cool mask." Mandy from Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate in Boredom and Bloodshed.
Yeah, she's going to be playing Hattie, the Headless Bull Rider.
Okay.
In Mary Kate.
So we are Boredom and Bloodshed and Horror Hound Bites are both live on Indiegogo. You only have 16 days left to join the cast of Boredom and Bloodshed. Highly recommend it if you're thinking about filming on set this summer. You need something to do. You want to build your demo reels. You want to get a resume together. This might be a good shot for you. There are definitely a lot of opportunities to get involved and to have a cool role with that. And that's pretty much it. Oh, look, check this out. Here's one of the shirts.
Oh,
there you go. So we have all the merchandise in for anybody that wants to get some cool Boredom and Bloodshed shirts and hats and things. Here's one of the prop pumpkins. So there's a party. There's a costume party in the movie. This will be on display at the party. It's just a prop pumpkin, and it's got the Boredom and Bloodshed logo hand painted on there. It has been claimed. There's one other jack-o'-lantern for grabs on Indiegogo. Is there anything? Okay, it might be this one. It might not be, but it might be. But there's another one.
Do you have the coffee cups, coffee mugs on you?
I will have them like any day now. I don't have one on me.
I'm gonna order one today.
Order two of them, man. I'll send them together.
Order 5.
All right. So, is there anything that you wanted to talk about, or anything that you want to mention that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
I think we covered everything. New movie coming out sometime soon. It's also a horror movie. It's a horror comedy called Cursed Hearse. We just got a distributor for it, so it will actually be distributed internationally. So keep on the lookout for that.
How about we liven this up? You want to talk shit about anyone? No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
What's your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh, they're actually filming one right now in Rhode Island. I may or may not have had some auditions.
Don't say it.
It's
do you have a favorite?
Well, it's always, what's it called? I like The Village.
The Village?
Yeah.
There's
I know a lot of people didn't.
Yeah,
but
grab that.
Sixth Sense is always, I think
Sense.
that was his best work. this new movie, I think it's called Remain or something. It has Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I don't know anything about it, but I know that it's shooting now in Rhode Island.
It's Mandy Coleman said that she claimed this one. So yeah, this is going to Mandy Coleman. She grabbed it through Indiegogo. It was the only large one and the only one with the logo on it. And honestly, I thought it would have went so much sooner, but all the smaller
I figured
ones
it would have been the first one, but
yeah, it's got a bloody handprint on the back and it's got this cool logo on the front. So there it is. Let's see what Lori is saying. Hello, how are you all doing? We're doing great. We're here with award-winning actor Krystian Bester, finding out what his favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie is. Says The Village. Let's see. What's the podcast about tonight? We're here with Krystian Bester. He was Jason Voorhees in our upcoming feature film, Friday the 13th, Blood Loss. He's going to be the killer in our movie that we're filming this summer. It's called BOREDOM and Bloodshed. He's also been featured in Law & Order SVU, FBI Most Wanted, Sins of the South, Small Potatoes, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff that we're going to trick his agent and letting him back on to talk about in the future. And he'll also be in Killer Pizza. She says, okay, awesome. Thank you for checking it out. What is Krystian Bester's favorite theme park ride?
I don't know. I'm actually going to Disney next week with my family, so
can we
go back on Space
Pick us
Mountain.
up on the way.
Hello, Nancy. Nancy Trejo from Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate's here. Lori says, brava. What is Krystian Bester's? Okay, so Krystian, we have to ask. Everybody's been sending in messages all week. Who's the best Batman?
Who's the best Batman? Christian Bale.
Christian Bale?
Mm-hmm.
Is that true? Is it Christian Bale?
He had nice arms, but
he had nice arms.
just nice arms.
All right. Christian Bale because he has nice arms. All right. So what else do we have here? What's Christian's favorite movie soundtrack?
Oh,
or
I
score?
don't know.
Or score?
Probably something from. I don't know. I just heard Scotty Doesn't Know a couple times a week, and it just brought me back to Euro Trip. And I love that song. But it's got to be from like a 2000s movie.
What was
Probably
the last?
Oh, you know what was good? Cradle to the Grave soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cradle to the Grave.
It had a lot of DMX songs, and it was like my high school. Yeah.
I don't follow the movie. I'd have to see it.
I have to go watch it again.
Yeah.
What's the last movie that you saw?
Last movie that I saw. I think it was the Minecraft movie with my kids.
What'd you think?
I thought it wasn't bad. I didn't understand it. Like
People go crazy in a movie.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, we went during I have little kids, so we went during. It was like 11 o'clock on a Saturday, so it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah. I had no idea what was going on in the movie at all.
Yeah.
Like I left the movie, no clue. Jack and Aquaman go to some magic world and they fight bad guys. That's all I know. Yeah. So we're like, not even the beginning hasn't even started. These kids behind us are freaking out. And then it just stayed like that for an hour and a half until I left and took aspirin and went to bed. All right. So Lori says, I just shared this on my directors and actors page. That's good because we just spent an hour going over how to go from indie film to working on big projects like Law & Order SVU and Small Potatoes and all these other cool projects. So it's perfect for any actors out there that are trying to figure out how to get to the next step, or anyone that thinks that it might be something that they're interested in. Krystian, we got him for maybe like 2 more minutes, then he's got to go. So where can people follow you on social media?
You could Instagram, Krystian.Bester is my handle. KRYSTIAN. I know it's weird, but and Facebook. And if anyone ever wants to send me a message, they have questions about anything that we talked about today, I'd be more than happy to help and answer.
And you don't get that really from people. So if it were me and if I were trying to get there, I mean, I would go back, rewatch this video, take some of the advice from it, take some pointers from it, And then I didn't offer Krystian up. He put it out there himself. If you guys want to message him, he said he's open to it. So
Ready for it.
Krystian is Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Blood Loss, being released on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital download Friday, June 13th. He's also going to be the lead, the only killer in Boredom and Bloodshed, filming this summer. You have 16 days left to join the cast. If you want to do it, go do it now. Highly recommend that you do. If you're looking to get involved, build your resume, get that demo reel footage, network on set, and kind of get a feeling for how things are going on our end. And we will let Krystian go because I know he's got to go film some big movies tonight. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. As always, you're the coolest, and we appreciate all the insight into the entertainment industry. Anything you wanted to say before we let him go to bed?
No.
All right.
Kind of covered everything.
Thanks so much, Krystian. We appreciate everything very much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
How cool was that? That was Krystian Bester from Friday the 13th Blood Loss. He won multiple awards for his participation in this guy here. He was Jason Voorhees, but he's also John Hawthorne. Remember, this is a different kind of Friday the 13th film. We've been very open and honest about that for the past 2 years. It's about John Hawthorne, a detective who's hired to go find a missing boy. During this, he unravels all the mysteries surrounding Camp Crystal Lake. Beatrice Bubley, who is Amanda Kruger, like now everybody's joining in. Where have you guys been? It's the end of the show, and now you guys are jumping in. You just missed one of the best episodes, easily the best one if you're an actor. Anyways, Friday the 13th Blood Loss is releasing Friday, June 13th, starring Krystian Bester, who we just had on the show. Go back and watch this episode 2 times if you're an actor. Beatrice Bubley from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Ari Lehman, who is the original Jason Voorhees. It doesn't get any more Friday the 13th than this. And there's a whole lot of Jason in here, and I think everybody's going to have a good time with it. Get your copy today from Indiegogo if you haven't yet. We appreciate all the support very much. Boredom and Bloodshed, like we said about a dozen times now, you got 16 days left to join the cast. Killer Pizzas in demand on Indiegogo. It's still active. People are joining all the time. If you haven't gotten involved, go get involved. Then, of course, Horror Hound Bites with Mary Kate. Episode 1 is in post-production right now. Episode 2 is in production mostly. Some of the parts have been filmed. The rest is a work in progress. We'll have episodes 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 out before you know it. We're doing 12 total, so if you want to get involved with that one is all remote. So you just film yourself at home and then send us the footage to use in the show. It's so fun to be a part of.
With the Horror Hound Bites, you still have the opportunity to join in for episode 3 if you sign up now on Indiegogo.
So you can still join and be a series regular in the show when it comes out. Like I said, that one's all remote. So you literally film yourself at home. You can be a big part of the show without ever having to leave the house. It's unique in that way. So definitely give it a look over if you're interested. We've already had a ton of support for it. We haven't been talking about it quite as much because we're promoting Boredom and Bloodshed, but the excitement behind the scenes is at like an all-time high. So if that's something that you're considering, definitely get involved. It's going to be ongoing for several months. So get involved. We appreciate everything. We're live tomorrow night with the Historically Haunted Vodcast with Adam Beacon. That's live at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see a bunch of you there, maybe. Definitely. All right. Thank you, guys. Bear with me for a second while I find our outro video because I know you guys don't want to leave. But just hanging out over there, having fun. All right. Goodbye.